A myth is a traditional or legendary story, usually concerning some being, hero, or event, with or without a determinable basis of fact or natural explanation, especially one that is concerned with demigods and explains some practice, rite, or phenomenon of nature, and typically involves supernatural beings and events. Examples of myths include the Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot, werewolves, vampires, witchcraft, UFOs, and our focus, supernatural behavior.
Supernatural behavior has had numerous reports over the past millennium, yet it is still claimed as a hoax to many skeptics. Join us as we plan to unravel the possibilities of the existence of the paranormal.
What are you doing? Nothing. What are you getting out?
Do I believe in supernatural behavior?
Yes, I do believe in supernatural behavior.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no way I could believe in supernatural behavior.
I really believe there's a spiritual realm, kind of next to this one.
Because I've seen things happen that have no explanation for happening.
All it is electrical interference, and people can basically talk themselves into seeing anything that they absolutely want to see.
Because I've actually had an experience with it.
I just really think it happened.
My wife, who's in heaven now, contacted me once and told me about how to resolve a problem I was having with my child.
I do believe.
The first time it was more like, an object crashed down and got my attention.
Things just moved. Like there was an envelope on a table, and it literally, there was no breezes, no windows open, and it just kind of moved.
And we both stopped at this, just froze.
I've seen some pretty weird stuff. Yeah.
That anybody can fool themselves to believe anything.
Because I could see a little girl that followed me around for years. Actually, she still follows me around. I still see her.
I believe there are things that are hard to explain why they happen, but the supernatural as we know it today, the way it's depicted on television, movies, and in books, no. Meaning I don't believe in ghosts.
Athens, Ohio, claimed to be the 13th most haunted place on Earth by the British Society for Psychical Research, for its high level of spiritual activities around this small town. One of the reasons for Athens' title is the 5 cemeteries that form a pentagram around the town. Sims, Hanning, Cuckler, Higgins, and Zion are the 5 oldest cemeteries that form this witchcraft symbol. A pentagram is cast as a protective force, where the center is a safe dead zone for paranormal behavior. The Ridges, known to many as the Athens Insane Asylum, has many myths and legends buried within its walls. In 1979, Margaret Schilling, a patient of the asylum, had gone for a walk and turned up missing. 6 weeks later, Margaret's body was found, curled up naked on the floor, with her clothes folded neatly on the windowsill. No one knows how she got there, but because she was a deaf mute, she could not call for help and had died. The cause of death was labeled as heart failure. After her body was removed, a permanent stain was left behind, and to this day is still visible to the eye.
When they finally found her, it was an upstairs part of the building which had been closed off because by this time the university had taken over the buildings. The mental health center had closed, and basically it was closing, and the university was taking it over, and they were getting ready to get rid of move to another place, and so they'd cut off many of the corridors. A fellow that worked there said that when they found her, what they think happened, that she wandered upstairs and got behind some of the building partitions, and there was nobody there. And she was found in, they have, if you've been there yet, there are these parts of the building that have windows all around them, and they sort of protrude like a bay window. And it was a nice place to sit, and the sun would come in. It was built that way for people to be able to sit there and enjoy the sun and the view. And that's where they found her, in there, and she was lying there and had actually died from natural causes. Nothing sinister. Nobody locked her away. She just wandered up there. And whether she died as soon as she got there, or whether she was there and they couldn't find her, because it wasn't a long enough time for her to have died from starvation or thirst or something like that.
After Margaret's death, it has been said that a student from Ohio University touched Margaret Stain, returned to her dorm room on the 4th floor of Wilson Hall, stayed locked in there for 3 days. When found, she was dead. Cause of death, labeled suicide.
New twist in that was that a student had been there when she was found and had been touring there, and the student was so horrified by all this supernatural that she went back to one of her dorms and killed herself. Well, first of all, there would not have been any students in there because that was closed. Secondly, I think if you check the dates of the person who supposedly killed herself, whether she did or not, I don't know, but the name of the student used was not anywhere near the time when this woman died.
After visiting the OU archives, we ourselves were unable to find the dates to confirm this myth.
No one knows for sure what happened. However, because of it, this small town of Ohio became a hotspot for ghost hunters. Some locals are believers, and some are not.
I mean, literally dozens of people coming in, wanting to know about ghosts.
Usually 9 out of 10 people that you meet around here have had some kind of either story to tell or an experience. It's definitely more open-minded to this kind of, paranormal, extracurricular activities than any other town I've ever been in.
Supernatural sightings are reported daily, yet no one really knows why it happens or whether it's true.
Everything that has happened and that they discuss about Athens County and the university and the state hospital being haunted, all of those things were completely unknown to me as an undergraduate. And when we first came back here, the first maybe 10 years that we were back, this has been a phenomenon to me of the 1970s.
I was told when I started working here that there was a young man that died here about anywhere from 10 to 15 years ago. He was stabbed outside in the parking lot. And so now every once in a while we'll see him. He just stays on the bottom floor, and he'll usually come from one side of the hotel and walk around and look in the window, kind of let me know he's here, and then just kind of keep on walking.
Why these sightings happen and how they happen are still unknown, yet many have their own beliefs on this matter.
I think for the most part, they can't handle it. A lot of people close their mind and their eyes to things that they can't handle.
I really think the fact that people were into drugs and did hallucinate, and they took the drugs they were taking in those days were that kind that you did hallucinate.
For the most part, I think that they're just here, and they've been here longer than we have even could ever think of, so I don't think they're going to go away anytime soon.
After conducting our investigation, we were unable to find the truth. Is it real, or is it all just a myth?